Hello and welcome to Big Bang Radio Spotlights. This is a show where we talk to independent artists from all around the world about their music and their process for making it. I'm your host, Nouran Shaban, and today Isaac Anderson and I got to talk to the band of Good Nature. Without any further ado, here's the interview.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. I guess I'll go ahead and start this interview out by kind of starting at the beginning of the musical journey. And obviously, you guys have been playing music for quite some time. But I wanted to ask you each, what is your earliest musical memory?
Earliest musical memory?
I know it's a deep one, I know.
Yeah. My earliest was when I was 1 year old. Started playing on pots and pans, watching Sesame Street. And then my dad got me a drum set, and I went from there.
Yeah. One of my earliest memories is playing on my grandma's piano when I was probably 5 or so. I got it right here.
Whoa! That's crazy. It's right next to you.
Yep. I mean, I was born into a musical family. So my dad, he was a worship leader. So I remember a lot of him going to nursing homes and different places, and I'd tag along, and he'd kind of entertain the guest, and there's a bunch of musical memories. That's one of the first.
So, real quick, guys, for some people who may have never heard your music before, how would you describe your sound to them?
Our sound is basically this indie funk rock reggae. We bounce around a little because we don't pertain one genre. We don't describe ourselves as just reggae or just funk or rock. We like to play everything.
How did each one of you get started playing music? I know you guys obviously you play all around to big crowds right now. Obviously with COVID-19 that's not happening. But what was the beginning of you each starting your respective instruments? Was there somebody in your family, or was there somebody in your life that really influenced you? I don't know. I'm gonna shut up. I want to hear what you guys have to say.
I mean, for me, it was just my brother and my friends and stuff around the neighborhood. That's kind of what we were doing, and everybody was doing. It was fun, and I was lucky to have that group of people around me at a young age. So that influenced me.
For me, the family band needed a bass player, so that's where I filled in, and never stopped. So the rest is history.
Yeah, my dad played keys, and I come from a musical family. My mom sang, my aunt played drums, cousin played drums. So I just always grew up in church watching other drummers and other musicians. That's how I picked it up.
So as a band, how did you guys come together, or you say collaborated together to form as a band of Good Nature?
So I think really just playing around in Charlotte, we all just kind of came up in our own avenues in Charlotte, and then Of Good Nature was forming, and we needed some more members just throughout the years, and we always just looked around within the scene and who was our friends and who played well, just around town. And John was playing in a couple different bands around town. Dave was playing in different groups. Brandon Hux is our trombone player. He recommended David. He knew him from playing in different things. So it's really just kind of Charlotte music scene. We're from all different parts of Charlotte.
If I would need to, I could be through. I believe you. Looking at you, feel so timeless. No face, he dies behind the blue screen. He don't even know me. He waits for it.
How do you guys go about writing your songs? Do you tend to write things on an individual basis and bring them to the band practices, or do you guys like to jam? I feel like you guys are probably big on the jam thing because that's kind of what the genre dictates. But I don't know, how exactly you guys write your music?
We're actually in the recording process right now. We're sitting here in the studio.
Oh wow, okay.
When we get down here, we'll be recording some new music, and some of these did come from just a jam during a rehearsal, like voice memo that Cam will just throw his phone down and he'll take some ideas and piece them together, and then we all kind of learn it structure-wise and start the recording process. I mean, it's always different, though. Sometimes Cam will have something he's already written.
Yeah, a lot of voice memos for sure. We all write different tunes in collective as well. So You know, I like to bring things to the table, and they like to bring different ideas to the table. We all work as a group. You know, it's not just one person like saying, "Oh, you have to play this." You know, that's how we get our music. We play what we feel.
For
So,
sure. And I think Google Drive and voice memos and recordings, in this digital age is definitely a way we can all share
yeah,
each other's musical thoughts and just like what we're all kind of working on, and we don't have to be directly in the van together and directly in the room together or something. We can just all be listening and then come together and then play it.
right.
It really is cool how that technology has kind of brought everybody together, but then again, you get like clouded up. It's like like song name _3, song name final 2. So, but that's really awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun. You guys writing that way. So, Nouran?
As you guys are like speaking about like your songs and recording and setting up the set of your songs, how long does it usually take you guys to come up with the idea of a song?
Not too long. Sometimes it could be an all-day process. It don't take us long to come up with an idea too, cause we always writing. We got so many songs, that we just like to bring up
Yeah.
and like go back to. We forget about our songs that we wrote in the past. That's how bad it is. But it don't take us long. It take us more so long of like, cause we're picky. We don't like to just settle with one thing. We change up the structure a little bit, or we change up the feel a little bit. So that's where the time really goes into.
Yeah. And from like inception of idea to like it being a finished song could be anywhere from like a couple weeks, I feel like, to a couple years, just depending on that voice memo and how excited we get about that little clip of recording. And then like sometimes we'll just be like, oh yeah, we really like this little clip now, and we're going to turn it into a 3-minute song, 4-minute song. And then sometimes that same clip just doesn't, you got to sit on it for a little while. So anywhere from a couple weeks to a couple years, to a couple decades.
Yeah.
This goes a little bit more into the lyric side of writing, and Cam, this might be more a specific question for you, but it might be for everybody. Do you guys tend to write from an experiential standpoint, or do you kind of prefer to craft a story, go for phonetics in your songs? I'm not sure. What is the process for writing the lyrics of the songs?
I think I feel more comfortable when it's like more personal, but I'm trying to step outside the box, especially the last album and this upcoming album, just maybe write more like about something that is non-fictional or fictional that has nothing to do with me or anyone around me, and it can just be kind of like a story, like just like a fictional story. I think that's exciting to think that way. But then I always come down to like and write about songs, and then I'm getting by myself, and then it becomes personal again. So I think it always has to tap into personal.
Yeah. There's something in the like a really genuine thing that comes from that too. Yeah, no matter if it is fictional or not.
Right. Well, that's something I'm trying to mess with, and I definitely lean on the other guys here when we're sitting in the studio trying to. I got some phrasing that I can't figure out, or need a couple words to punch up and stuff. So we're all here.
You guys have great 4 albums. Could you tell us which album is your favorite?
My favorite's Everything Turns Gold, just because it's the most recent.
Yeah.
Or this one right now. We're recording right now.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Timeless only because it was that was special for me. One, it was my first album recording with them, and then two, we wrote a lot of the songs and came up with a lot of ideas too on the road or at the cabin. So it's Timeless was definitely nice. It felt timeless for sure. Hanging with cows and stuff like that. It was nice.
They're all my favorite. They're like my babies.
Yeah,
I can't
for-
choose just one.
Exactly.
Staying on the album train right now. So your first album, I believe it's Life Worth Living, right?
There actually is an album before that. We kind of keep it underground a little bit, but you can find it just to add water. It's not on Spotify or iTunes.
Okay.
But it is out there, and we think it's good enough to have out there, but we don't think it's our greatest representation. And Spotify pushes things up to the top. We just don't want that in everybody's face. But that's our first is Just Add Water. Life Worth Living is our second, but we kind of pushed that one in front of just anyway.
Okay, well, let's just talk about Life Worth Living. So, obviously, maybe not like necessarily your first, but obviously that has it's a pretty big cornerstone in your musical career. What was the process of recording that like? Did you guys track that yourselves? Did you go off and record with someone else? I don't know. How did it work?
That was, we recorded that in Charleston, South Carolina, with Eric Ricker, Jeff, Leonard. And yeah, that was actually, it was a little bit different process. We kind of laid down basic tracks first, John and I did, and then we had drums come in over top, and that was a different drummer. David wasn't with us yet. That was Joey Vachon, the fourth on the drums. And
yeah, it was wild to have like bass and just trying to get bass and guitar tracks, like the scratch tracks, the drums, just to click.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a
More of a layering recording process. And now we kind of shoot for, even when we're recording ourselves, now we shoot for us three playing together, like a live more style, still to a click, but like we try to all play as much together in that original drum track to make it sound like we're playing live, and not sound like it's laid out. But that's still a good way to record. Because when we're recording ourselves now, we go for more of a live track.
As you guys are creating your new album, I know it's quite different than the other albums you created because of the pandemic, of the COVID.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah,
thank you.
appreciate it.
Yeah, it was different. Everything turns gold. I feel like we're really breaking out and just kind of not really thinking too much before the songs and just like letting them come out, and we're rolling with it.
Yeah, I definitely like where the sound is going.
So you guys mentioned earlier that you guys located in Charlotte, North Carolina. Could you tell us how is the music scene in Charlotte?
Yeah, it's very broad. It's not like any other cities. Charlotte is it's a big organization. We're a big family here. We all play music together. The circle seems big, but it's very, very tiny. We all know different musicians that know each other, and it's very broad. It's a lot of jazz here. Thanks to Charlotte Jazz, they're amazing. There's a lot of different rap scenes going on, folk rap, folk going on. It's Charlotte is growing. It's growing, and it's amazing here. It's a great city to be in. If you want to be a musician, Charlotte's a place to definitely come and network.
There's also something called CLT Music Creative that is actually offering grants to artists that submit to their program or just to their forum, which we all did and have received grants from our city. So shout out to the Charlotte Music City community.
I think now I really wanted to hop onto your latest album, which you mentioned a little earlier, which is Everything Turns Gold. And doing some research on you guys, it looks like you guys had some really big names work on it. It looks like, I got my sheet right here, it looks like Danny Kalb, producer, Ted Brown produced them. And you also went to a place called Killian Sound in Hollywood. How did you get involved with these producers, and what was it like working with them and just recording in that big studio, especially in a place like Hollywood?
How did we get hooked up with Sergio?
Yeah, Sergio was just, we knew it was a dope place, and we had 2 days off in LA on this tour, so we knew we were going to be in LA for 2 days. What can we do that's going to be productive? And we just, we looked into it. I hit him up. He had a couple of days off. It wasn't out of our budget, so we were like, all right, let's do it. So that's how Sergio happened. I mean, Danny, we just,
Fans.
Yeah, we've really just become connected with Danny. I think that's definitely, he's our producer, how we see him right now. And I mean, he's awesome. We've heard him put out albums before, and we're like, we need to find whoever's working on that and work towards working with him. And it took us a second to get there, but we've done 2 albums with him now.
And Ted Brown, we just became close with him over the years, playing different festivals together. And we first recorded with him down in St. Petersburg.
Yeah, years ago.
Yeah, on which song was that? Sit Around.
Yeah.
And it was.
So Ted and Danny, I mean, we've all just become friends, and we like to work with people that we work well with and get along with.
As this year is coming to an end, as the new year is coming up, what do you guys as a band would hope to achieve in the next year?
The next year, I mean, we've kind of had to, readjust a little bit with everything in the world that's going on. So I think we've honed in more on the studio side of things and recording ourselves. So I think, when touring opens back up, we should have a lot of content we're sitting on and behind us. And I think just being a prepared band and business is our model now. And we're only going to get stronger. And so we're looking forward to the next couple of years.
Awesome. Well, you guys mentioned earlier that you are currently working on your new album, and you guys are recording it. Could you just tell us a little bit about the process of this new album that's coming up?
What do you think about the new song?
We got a few great songs on our hands right now. This process is definitely great because we're recording ourselves. But it feels really good right now. We got a different pop and reggae tunes, we got coming your way. So yeah, definitely look out for them. Can't give you too much info about it because they're not done, but they're gonna be nice.
Well, I wish you guys best of luck on this new process that you guys are creating. Real quick before we go, what is the best way for our listeners to find you? And then I'll give it to Isaac from there.
Yeah, our Instagram @ofgoodnature, Facebook.com/ofgoodnature, www.ofgoodnature.com. We have links to everything. We have lyrics for everything. We have merch store, so I think our website can get you anywhere, and on any social platform we're there. Spotify, Apple Music,
Tinder.
Awesome. Great.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. Before we go, I did have one question. I don't know if you watched a Big Bang Radio Spotlight before, but whenever I host, I always like to ask the artist this because I'm a musician, but I'm also a film lover, and I believe those two worlds are not too far away from each other. So before we go, what is each of your favorite movies?
Forrest Gump.
Wow, that was fast. Like you had that like in your back pocket ready to flip it out like a Pokemon card, man.
Rudy is like one of the classics, man. I love that movie.
Yeah. Rocky, any Rocky movie. Those are some classics for me.
Awesome. Yeah. You like
Mine's Helen Kumar. Yeah, that joint is funny.
Which one? Escape from Guantanamo Bay?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the Guantanamo Bay, and you don't like White Castle as much?
He likes both.
I like both.
They're both good.
Okay, well we'll go with Guantanamo Bay. Guantanamo Bay is pretty good.
Yeah. Very good.
I really like Inglourious Bastards. That's one of my favorites.
Thanks to the band Of Good Nature for sitting down with Nouran and I and talking all about their music. If you guys want to see more interviews just like this, you can go to facebook.com/Studio67NCC, youtube.com/NashComCollege, or you can find us on Instagram at Studio67NCC. Thank you all for watching. I'm Isaac Anderson, and until next time, stay lovely.